There are thousands of islands around the world, and among them, these are the weirdest. From an island inhabited by creepy dolls, to one that is covered in human remains, and another with radioactive debris all over, these strange islands will keep you up at night. At first glance, these places just seem out of this world. Hang tight as we go through this thrilling video that will make you wonder whether you should sail to an island and discover something too. So, grab a snack and let's dive in with our first unique and grim island. Number 1. Human remains at Poveglia Island. This island is so haunted that it is banned for visitors. If someone really wants to visit and is not willing to take no for an answer, they have to get special permission from the authorities. The Poveglia Island is a land full of horrors. People firmly believe that the whole place is covered with human remains, and 50% of the island is filled with the ashes of dead bodies. It does not sound a lot, but people claim that every step you take could make you stumble upon human remains. A minimum of 100,000 people have been reported to die here, but other claims report a higher number. Some fishermen have reported that they often catch a human bone in their fishing nets when fishing nearby. There are so many bones that they sometimes wash up on the shore. But what's terrifying is why there are so many bones on an abandoned island. There have been far too many creepy stories behind the origin of these human remains that will send a shiver down your spine. Each version you hear is creepier than the other. The island served as a quarantine site centuries ago to control the plague. Anyone with the slightest indication of the plague was sent to the island on a ship. They would spend most of their days here until they died. Some believe that the hospitals did not know what to do with the dead bodies of the people who had been affected by the plague and burned them. Others say that the victims were burned alive in plague pits that were designed in an attempt to control the disease. If that isn't frightening enough, the hospital on the island was then converted into a mental hospital. Mad doctors would do experiments on sick patients, but their vile experiments ended when the ghosts of the plague knocked on their doors. One doctor was reported to have jumped off from the tower because he was told by the ghost to do so. This is not all that this island holds. A few locals have even gone as far as to say they exhumed some of the corpses, and what they found was horrifying. Some of the corpses had blood dripping on the bodies, which the locals believed was the work of a vampire. Hearing all these stories, many enthusiasts have tried visiting the island, and it was not a pretty visit at all. They witnessed an eerie feeling in the air. A group tried staying there for 24 hours and heard curses in hushed voices, experienced weird energy, and saw equipment malfunctions with off-the-charts readings on monitors. It was as crazy as it could get. Nobody dares go to the island, especially the locals. They claim that they can still hear the noises and the moans of the victims if they travel too close to the island. Some claim they can hear the bell ringing in the tower even though there is no bell there. A majority of the locals have heard warnings and threats from anonymous voices on the island to stay away. All in all, nobody knows which part of the legend is true and what part is an exaggeration. There are tons of human remains scattered all over the land, and you can easily spot one if you are one of the lucky few allowed there. Number 2. Treasure on Oak Island. On Oak Island, there lies a mystery so strange and tempting that people have spent decades to unravel the truth behind it. For more than 300 years ago, there has been a legend that there is treasure hidden in the depths of this island. But exactly what kind of treasure is buried there? Well, no one really knows for sure. A lot of people think that gold has been dumped on this gigantic chunk of land. In the 17th century, a crew member of a pirate ship may have leaked the information that around 2 million euros worth of gold was present on the island. Others claim that Shakespeare's manuscript is here. A few even think that a money pit or a vault was designed by the royals to hide their money. It is not clear which version of the story is true, but one thing is for certain: there is something really hidden on the island, and the Lagina brothers have proved it. These brothers were on a quest to discover the treasure and finally put an end to this legend. And what they found sent shockwaves in the entire community. On their hunt, they found many artifacts from gold coins to stones that were carved with special markings. But their biggest find was what everyone was after: gold. They unearthed long pieces of wood that they put to testing and discovered that it had traces of gold on it. They may be far from uncovering the gold pile itself, but they have reached unimaginably closer to the real deal. Another thing that proves that there is treasure on the island is the construction of a bizarre set of flood tunnels. They have been around for decades and no one can figure out who built it. It is believed that their purpose was to keep the treasure hunters away from finding the big pile of gold, but whether that is really true is up for debate. Want to hear the creepiest part yet? Well, there is a legend that says that 7 people will die in the hunt for the treasure. Now that may sound silly until you realize this curse may well be happening right now. That is because 6 people have already perished in the hunt for the treasure up until now. I wonder who the 7th will be. Number 3, gold and cannibals at Tiburon Island. This strange island holds a story so creepy that people are afraid to go there. On Tiburon Island, there exists a tribe of people that have been known far and wide as cannibals. They got the reputation when a group of treasure hunters were on a quest to find gold on the island. But instead, they paid a steep price for stepping foot on this island. A group of 4 travelers led by a prospector came in the early 20th century on a quest. This prospector had come 2 years before to see if the island was worth exploring, but had only explored it a bit. He had no idea that when he would come again in a group, it would be his last trip ever. When the group mysteriously disappeared, the prospector's brother went to the island to find out the truth. And what he discovered was so shocking that he could not believe his eyes. He met with a few hunters on the island who disclosed that a group had recently died in the town. Their death was not as shocking as the way they had been found dead. Their hands were strapped to tall stakes in the center of dance rings, which was the famous way for the cannibals to kill. They would then take piece by piece of the bodies, tied to the stakes, until they eat them up whole. But the group that had died was not the prospector and his party. Still, it was assumed they met the same fate, because their belongings were found scattered at a location nearby. 2 years later, the prospector's bones were unearthed and a handwritten note in the form of letters nearby. Many people have since then visited the island and have even met tribes that were largely popular as cannibals. But these people claim that they have given up cannibalism. They do prefer the humans, but the authorities have banned cannibalism, and anybody who does the deed will find himself thrown in jail. Number 4. I in Madagascar. There are many strange animals in Madagascar, but this particular animal beats them all. An I does not just have a unique name, but its physical attributes are so rare that you would not find such an animal anywhere apart from Madagascar. The name of the animal roughly translates to "I don't know," which is probably because the animal could not be classified into a group. They are considered quite close to lemurs, but this one has bat ears and long fingers. Look at the fingers, so creepy. Although they have those big adorable eyes, they do not really need good vision. Being nocturnal, they usually spend their days in the trees and nights hunting for food through their senses of touch and smell. This is where the long, spooky fingers and bat ears come in. This animal goes out to hunt in the middle of the night and uses its ears to find which trees have prey. Once they pinpoint a nice hunting point, they use their claws and make a hole in the trees. Through their long fingers, the eye gets the grub, hiding inside the hole, and gobbles it up. This is one of the weirdest hunting techniques, but the eye has just the right tools to do it right. The sad thing about this animal is that it is highly endangered. This is mainly because the eye is considered a bad omen. People kill them because they think it is bad luck to even see one. The myth is not true, but these animals surely grab the attention of the people because of their strange appearance. Number 5. The Cactus Dome. Hidden in the Pacific Ocean lies a creepy secret that could bubble up and engulf the entire human population. This secret is the Cactus Dome that is present on one of the Marshall Islands. It used to be a nuclear testing site where the US government did excessive experimentation of nuclear bombs to stay ahead in the war. For more than 10 long years, the authorities conducted over 100 tests on the island and detonated over 43 nuclear weapons. The tests completely obliterated one of the islands and left nothing but rubble on another. The experimentation did lead to the discovery of new heavy elements, but the cost of it was incomparable. The nearby islands had become completely inhabitable, and the debris had flown to the sea, causing radiation to spread. So the authorities got to work and stuffed the entire radioactive debris mixed with soil into a crater. An estimated amount of 95,000 cubic yards worth of debris is stored inside the crater. The dome itself is made up of concrete and holds the lid to the messy secret that lies inside. Around 4,000 people were employed to get the job done. However, there have been reports that most of them either fell ill or have gotten cancer as a result of being too close to the radioactive debris. But that's not the most shocking part of the whole story. There have been reports that the dome has started to crack and poses the danger of radioactive debris spilling out. Although the US authorities claim that there is nothing to worry about and the claims are false, they did give an estimate that the dome will not have any adverse effect for at least 20 years. Knowing the government, I wouldn't trust that statement too much. Whether the claims of cracks are true or not remains a mystery because it is too dangerous to go near the dome. But the consolation by the authorities is not very comforting either. Number 6. Hundreds of rabbits on Okunoshima Island. There is an island far away in Japan that holds a fluffy but dark secret. There are more rabbits than there are humans on this island, but it does not come from a happy source. If you take a peek at Okunoshima Island, you will come across hundreds of rabbits roaming freely around. Tourists often come down to the island and pet these cuddly animals and give them food. It is highly unusual for the rabbits to be the kings on an island. Is it some sort of a cult? No, that is not the case, but the real reason is not very pretty either. This island held a secret chemical factory that was in charge of producing a poisonous gas. The astonishing thing is that the island was not even on the maps. The locals did not even know that this place existed until many years later. This factory was hidden for decades until the government finally accepted the horrendous crimes. But when they opened the island to the locals, they found a bizarre number of rabbits hopping around from one place to another. The researchers believe that a large number of rabbits were used as subjects during the World War for testing the poisonous gas. Maybe some people took empathy and freed a few of the rabbits from the secret chemical factory that was producing the gas. As a result, the rabbits mated, and bam, it is a rabbit heaven now. There are an estimated 900 to 1,000 rabbits living freely on the island. Because of the banned entry of cats and dogs, that number is expected to only increase in the long term since there are no predators around. Despite the grim origins, though, it is kind of cute to see these little guys running around. Number 7. The Creepy Crawly at Sao Tome Island. The crawling mystery on Sao Tome Island has kept scientists on the edge of their seats because of the strange nature of these animals. Caecilians are creepy worms that look like eels, but are from the same class as frogs and salamanders. If you look at them closely, their shrunken eyes and small teeth will almost fool you into thinking they are quite adorable. However, some of these worm-shaped animals are toxic and can harm humans. What's fascinating about these animals is that they have so many traits from different species that characterizing them is a mess. Scientists could not figure out where to put this creepy crawler. This creature has a backbone and a skull, which is unlike a worm, and a tail that is unlike a snake. They do have limbs that help them stay underground, which is one of the adaptations they have developed over 300 million years. But the strangest thing about this animal is not the many anatomical traits. Rather, it is the way the mother feeds her offspring. For years, scientists could not figure out how the feeding happened, but then they did experiments, and what they found was shocking. It was highly unusual and nothing like they had ever seen in any other animal. The offspring lie close to the mother and would bite off small pieces from her body to keep themselves fed. The mother is not hurt because the outer layer of her skin is mostly dead cells. But it still left the community with many questions and no answers. There is a lot that is unknown about the Sicilians, but there is time until we can unravel all the secrets about this strange, ancient animal found on this island. Number 8. The creepy dolls on La Isla de las Muñecas. There is an island that is covered by spooky dolls. When the world discovered the reason behind the unusually large number of dolls, it was nothing less than shocking. The island with the dolls hanging on the branches of the trees is itself very creepy. You can sense the eeriness in the atmosphere long before you even hear the dark story behind their presence. There was a man from Mexico who made this island his home after separating from his family. One day, he discovered a dead body of a small girl on the shores of the island. Soon enough, a doll came floating after the girl, and he could not help but hang it from the tree to honor her death. But what he did not know was that it would be his last day living in peace. After he hanged one doll, he claimed that he was haunted by the girl's spirit. So to please her, he would often find dolls in trash cans and faraway places. He would then hang them on the branches. The troubling thing was that the dolls were not even in good shape. Some of them did not have heads, others did not have a torso, and many had a limb or another body part lost. For 50 long years, the man kept up with this insane ritual. He was then found dead at the exact same place where he had found the girl. Creepy, right? But like every story, this has its critics too. Many people do not believe this to be true. They claim that he was not of sound mind, which is why he kept up with this bizarre activity as an act of freeing himself from boredom. But there are other things that happen on the island near these dolls that confirm the original story. Many locals that now live there report that they have always felt strange walking here. They would often witness the eyes of the dolls rolling. Sometimes they even heard whispers where the dolls would talk to each other. They firmly believe that the spirit of the girl roams around these dolls. It cannot be said whether the story of the Mexican man is real, and if there even was a ghost girl. But these creepy experiences witnessed by the locals do raise the question of whether it is all true. Until solid evidence comes forth, this will remain a mystery that no one can fully answer. Number 9. The crab walk on Christmas Island. There are a lot of animals that migrate in different seasons, but none do it in such a strange way as this one. On Christmas Island, there is a phenomenon so unique that it attracts hundreds of tourists to witness the unreal event. Millions of crabs make their way from the forest to the ocean for mating season. A huge wave of red can be seen crawling as fast as their little legs can take them. They head out to the ocean with the males leading the females in a gigantic herd. The migration starts as soon as the hint of the first rainfall hits the island. It is truly a bizarre sight that is unique to the Christmas Island, but it is one that is also very popular among tourists. Number 10. Cat Cabin at Cat Island. If you're a fan of cats, this island will be on the list of your favorites. After an island of rabbits, we introduce you to the island of cats. There are more cats here roaming on the streets than there are humans. With a very small human population counting up to 1,000 people, the cats are left to walk freely on the streets. The reason why there are so many cats on the island is actually quite interesting. The island was home to silkworms that helped raise the country's economy with the textile industry. When the industry was threatened by rodents, the residents started keeping cats as pets to free their booming industry of a creepy, crawly problem. Soon enough, the government also joined in and released hundreds of cats to counter the rat problem. As a result, the cats started eating up all the rodents, and the textile industry sighed a breath of relief. Ever since then, the islanders have refused to let the cats go. Instead, they let them stay here, and the result is this: a growing population of cats. If the large cat population was not enough, the residents started to give a strange kind of importance to the cats. There also exists a shrine dedicated to the cats that is often visited by tourists and locals alike. Plus, due to the legacy of the island largely becoming known as the Cat Island, there were a lot of cat-shaped cabins erected as well. These cabins were put up for rent so that the tourists could have a complete cat-like experience on the island. Would you visit here? Let us know in the comments. Number 11. The Garbage Patch at the Great Pacific. In the Great Pacific Ocean, there is an island that is not quite what it looks like. When you see it from the advanced equipment, you would think it is an average island, but in reality, it is something that is far from being a natural phenomenon. The gigantic supposed island is actually an island of trash that has formed its way into a conical shape inside the ocean. This massive pile of trash was created into this shocking shape because of the water currents in the ocean. The ocean currents carried the trash to the center and piled it up to a huge island. Many efforts have been made to clean the trash, but there is simply too much marine debris for the people to fish it out. Instead, the ocean is left with what is the vilest thing that humans could have contributed to the ocean. This island is a living example of pollution that forces people to think twice before throwing away plastics. That's all on our exciting video about the strange things that were found on the islands. Which one was your favorite? Is there an island that you would like to visit yourself and see the bizarre discovery for yourself? Let us know in the comments. While you are at it, do share your thoughts on what you would like to see next. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Until next time, stay tuned and thanks for watching.